Hello everybody, good morning. Welcome to another How to Baldur's Gate. I am Redonia and I'm going to be walking you through the ruins and the battle at the Grove today. I'm not an expert, but I've played this game a lot. I'm a little bit obsessed with about 1,200 hours and 8 complete playthroughs. And like 6 in-progress games, most of which are co-op. Yeah, I've got a lot of experience playing this game, but the best thing about this game is that I am still finding new things, still learning new paths through this. This stream is really just set up so that you can ask questions and to give you some basic tactical insight to help you continue to make your way through your own game. I've talked to a lot of people who have struggled to get past even just Act 1, so hopefully through this playthrough we kind of help with that a little bit. Okay, so let's get into this a little bit. I apologize for fussing with my camera so much right now, because normally I have Astarion standing behind me and I'm standing up, and I'm just not doing that today. I'm tired. So I'm sitting down today. Anyway, so here we are. We are at the ruins. You'll notice I have little notes in the corner here kind of talking about some of the aspects of this. There are 9 chests throughout the entire place, 2 dig sites, which we covered in the last video, but I'll walk past them again, 4 possible combats, 1 special item, and 1 companion. Withers does join your camp, but I mean, you could hardly call him a companion, eh? So, to start, let's walk past those dig spots. There's one here. This has a couple of spell scrolls in it. And the second one is, of course, over here to the side. At the end of my last video, I did also point out that there is a shortcut if you wanted to bypass the combat and get Withers early on, which at this point we're doing Withers right out of the Nautiloid, right? We haven't done the Grove or anything yet, but a great trick is to lockpick this door here. It takes you right to the fight with Withers. The other option would be to lockpick the door that is along the beach when you land the Nautiloid, or fall out of the Nautiloid more specifically. That door will also lead you directly to Withers without all of this additional combat. But we're going to take the long way for the sake of kind of going through some of those tactics, and because it's the most direct route. If you have any questions about what we're doing or just the game in general, and I'm able to help, I'm happy to help. If you just want to chat, I'm here to chat, whatever. We're just having fun. Okay, so this is the front of the ruins. I recommend that you approach this combat from the side. So rather than going that way, we're going to come back over to this side here, where we picked up Lae'zel. I think you can climb the hill over here, yeah. So you just want to be on this side of the ruins. This is an opportunity. You can talk your way through this, but let's assume for a moment you're not sure if you're going to be able to do it, or you want the XP of actually doing this fight, or you want the gear, because they actually drop some decent gear. We're going to start by splitting the party. Right now, our party is a standard party, purely for the sake of illustrating party balance. So, my Tav is a fighter, Astarion is a rogue, Shadowheart is a cleric with a support-focused skill set, and Gale is, of course, a wizard, but we've gone abjuration. So we want to put our healer someplace central, but out of the direct line of combat. We want to put Gale, similarly so, out of the direct line of combat, but someplace where he will easily be able to lend a hand. Astarion is capable of fighting, but he's a little squishier, so we're going to take advantage of his stealth.
going.
And then my fighter, we're just going to tuck her over here and stealth her as well.
Softer than a whisper.
Now, something to keep in mind tactically. If you don't want everybody being pulled into combat right away, having everyone do stealth is a great way to do that. Put them into stealth mode, take them out of the direct line of sight.
Cloak and dagger. My favorite.
And that'll make it a little bit easier to kind of pull them in as needed rather than having everyone engaged in the combat in the first place. This is a huge, huge help. So again, for the sake of just doing this, let's say you want to take advantage of being able to do this combat, we're just going to go ahead and start the fight. So, Astarion is the best person to start with anytime you're trying to get the surprise round. One, because his initiative is very high, because of his high dexterity, he's almost always going to go first or be one of the first people to go. Your surprise round is going to give you the ability to do some extra damage. So,
now they see me.
I'm going to move Astarion out of sight. Also a great tip, when you're using your hide, any of your enemies that are going to try and find you are going to go to the spot where you hid first. So hide, then move. Hide, then move. Now we're going to kind of draw everybody else in. Coming in from this angle, we have this great advantage. Nobody can really see us. But even though I'm about to step into that line of sight, as long as I do so, while making an attack, the attack will still go through. As long as you don't miss it. And they're surprised, and I still have the higher initiative, so we're gonna just take him out altogether. We can loot everything after. Sometimes looting during can be nice because you might pick up some extra things.
Wonder if the gods are watching
So
me.
we're gonna pull her back. The idea is to draw the other three to us, right? We've kind of got a trap set. This is an ambush, right? So we want to draw everybody to us. So they're surprised. You can take advantage of the surprise round by pulling everybody in and doing damage. But if you're still new to Baldur's Gate and you're still learning the mechanics, it's better to draw them in, let them come to you, and for you to have the advantage than to push in just because you might do a little extra damage in the process. It's not always worth it. So, let's see. So we're going to bring Astarion back out here. We're going to get the sneak attack again. Fantastic.
No choice but to keep going. Another step forward.
Okay. Before we end that turn,
Has to come first.
we're going to bring Shadowheart in. A little closer. There we go. And we're going to use Bless. That's going to help keep everybody a little safer. So now she's been pulled into combat. And we have to wait for her turn. So I'm going to end my turn there. Ideally, what we want to do is draw them up to Gale. So Gale can do some damage. Oh. Bummer. It's always very amusing when that happens.
We'll do it my way.
After a while, you'll start to get an idea of where the sight lines are going to be. It makes it a lot easier to use stealth. Bang. Bye-bye. Alright, so we're going to
Let's go.
have Astarion retreat, because we want to make sure that he's not too close to anybody when this guy comes running up. He used his dash, so that's not very helpful.
Stuck fast.
And Shadowheart's gonna come in and just pick her up. If you're concerned about Shadowheart taking damage, which I always am a little concerned about that, she is your primary healer. If you're not doing any damage with her, she can have Sanctuary. Basically, your enemies will just ignore anyone with Sanctuary. They're not even going to try to attack her. At this point, we haven't even had to use Gale.
Excellent.
Never a dull moment.
The dance macabre.
I like to trade back and forth between my characters as well, because sometimes you might waste a move without needing to. So, that's his move, that's her move. Shadowheart, we're just gonna keep her out of combat. Nobody needs to be healed, we haven't taken any damage. So we're just going to pull her out. These tactics are also really great when you're dealing with like honor mode, because of the fact that it keeps someone on reserve at all time. When you have somebody that's on reserve, kind of in the background, out of harm's way, it means you always have someone to retreat
Shall we dance?
if things get too hairy. Which is actually really important. Good. And of course you have all the awesome loot. Loot, loot, loot. Obviously, if you're playing a paladin, don't do this. Don't just like willy-nilly go in and
No
start
one stopped me yet.
a ruckus with people. It's not a good idea.
Don't waste a step.
That will go very badly for you. You will lose your oath if you pick a fight with those guys haphazardly. Also be careful. Certain characters, Lae'zel, will just walk across that gap in the ground and fall in. And then you might find yourself a little prematurely amidst that chaos. So do be careful with the hole in the ground if you're not ready to go in there yet. Just gonna take a minute. This is getting a little chaotic, so send these to where they belong. Scrolls to Gale. Lockpicking supplies to Astarion. And Shadowheart's pretty sturdy, so I like to give her all of the armor we pick up along the way. And of course, organize the chaos. So she can carry a little more. There's a lot of things to be picked up here. Also, always make sure you're checking. Yeah, we're picking up basic stuff, but as you progress through the game, always kind of check to see if you've got any better gear. Okay. Come to me, my people. There we go. Run around the obstacles. Smart. There we are. Okay. So we're just gonna knock on the door. Knock, knock.
Thank you, Gibblebook. Everything all right out there?
Again, if you've taken Charlatan, or if you've taken a background that matches one of your primary players, your primary characters, companions, you'll have the benefit of getting double inspiration. So we're going to use Deception here. Since I'm Charlatan and Astarion's Charlatan, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, I told him it wasn't
We'll
safe out there.
get 2 points out of
Get
this.
inside and I'll rustle up some bandages.
Or not. I guess maybe they got rid of that one.
Who the hell's... You're dead!
That's interesting. Well, you used to get an inspiration point there. I guess you don't now. Patch 6, man. Not all my information's gonna be valid. Well, it used to be that there was one there. That's so interesting.
How much farther
You would
can
get
I
one
go?
for, deceiving
No
the
more
door guard.
prayers. Only dust and silence.
Who
Early
are those
game,
prayers for?
pick up
Normally
everything.
the patron
Exhausted.
god is obvious.
Better find somewhere to
Not
camp
here.
soon.
Alright, so we're looting everything. Looting everything. Time consuming, unless you know where everything is.
Might be useful.
Again, food is imperative. If you're playing a normal game, you'll pick up more than enough food along the way. If you're playing honor mode or tactical, you need double the amount of food. There's never enough food. It's not worth giving up your freedom to long rest as you see fit, just because you don't have enough food. Just pick up everything. I leave the plates and stuff, they're really not worth that much. Okay.
Over there.
Yes.
I wonder what the next move is. Onward in her name.
Okay.
Maybe I should stay.
Combat 2. On the other side of this door, there's going to be one person, but they call for reinforcements before you have a chance to do much else. So it's best to do what we did in the first fight. We're going to draw them into our side of the door, onto our side of the door, rather than going into their side of the door. It's going to slow them down, thin them out, and make it easier to take them out one at a time. Only one body fits through a door at a time. And of course, always save. Always save.
These boots see everything.
Ah. Well,
How'd you get past Andor? Back off!
she's usually wandering around when you open the door.
Hey, someone's in here.
Alright. Fine by me. We're going to try and draw them into the combat. So when you have groups like this is the best news ever. Right? Look at this. Look at this tidy little group. If this were a regular D&D game, this is the moment where you're like, fireball, like, for real.
Adventure forth.
But given that that is not where we are, we're just going to go ahead and use this explosive barrel here. So this is like the dream situation. It doesn't always work out this way. If your guys don't, or if the enemies don't pile around the barrel in the first place, wait for them to get closer to it before exploding it. Alright. So that's half the party gone. Taken care of. No problem. There we go, okay. What? Okay.
Time to push my luck again.
Because we had to put Gale in the door to make that shot, it's a little harder. And they're out of the way. So, that's fine. We're going to continue to draw them in. So I'm just going to go ahead and skip my turn. Not a big deal.
Swiftly now.
We were mostly just waiting to do that anyway. We just want to get him out of the line. Out of line of sight. Because ultimately, he's squishy. We don't want our squishy guy getting beaten for no reason. So I'm going to come in the door. Remember, let's use our awesome jump ability to get extra distance. And bye-bye. Woo! That's taken care of.
Destroyer.
We're gonna need our spell slots, so sometimes the best thing you can do is nothing at all. We're just gonna wait. Alright, we want to make it so she has no choice but to come closer. We're at a disadvantage running in there after her because she's a caster. So let's force her to come to us. Get further in and out of the line of sight.
Let me recite their demise.
Now she has no choice but to come after us. And she used her dash, which means she no longer has an action.
May the gods take you first.
And we're done.
I don't need any attention right now.
Piece of cake.
Moving in.
Another thing that really helps manage encumbrance, I like to give people specific things that they carry. Starian usually carries supplies like that. Shadowheart will carry armor, like I said earlier. I'll take everything else, but Gale carries scrolls and books. And you can just go ahead and organize them as you're looting, which I always feel like that makes a big difference.
Anything of use?
If you're playing on a harder difficulty, they do have more hit points. That initial explosion will not be enough to kill them. So it is important to use that trick of kind of drawing them to you as much as possible. It makes a really big difference. Everybody just stand by while I loot things. At some point, I will get to the point where I've got, like, everything marked out
That's curious.
so that I can just kind of go combat by combat. So, you want to make sure you pull the chain in the back. This place is full of books. Books do add up as far as, like, making you extra money. It's wonderful lore. I have read all the books in the game. So... there it goes. You know, make sure to take the time to read them. The devs put a lot of love into making this a very real world, and I personally am a huge fan of all of the different literature, all the different stories, different things you can read in this game. Can't say I have a favorite book. I like Volo's books the most. Mostly because they're ridiculous. Depending on which one you're reading. Half of them aren't even complete books. I think that's the funniest part. This is a little boring and time consuming. I know it, but you do want to take the time to do it. It seems a little bit like nickel and diming, but early on in the game, especially before you get to the Grove, everything helps. Okay, so we've pulled the lever. Lever opens this door. And this door takes us into the main chamber where we'll find Withers.
This place wasn't built for the living.
Feel free to search every damaged vase you come across. You probably won't find anything in them. There are specific vases throughout the game that have items in them, but as a general rule, they kind of don't. The torch on the ground here if you want the extra gold.
Something good here, I hope.
Well, hello.
Now, when we restat Astarion, this will be a much more valid statement, but I'm gonna say it now anyway. Rogue
A
first.
trap. Someone doesn't like visitors.
Anytime you go into a room, you should send the rogue in first.
Wits and blades, always sharp. Got to keep moving.
Person with the second best perception is actually Shadowheart at this point.
Trap.
Although she didn't catch the sarcophagus either, which isn't particularly helpful.
Best avoid that trap.
When I restat, I like to ensure that
Lovely day, this. For now.
Astarion has exceptional perception, if possible. Mostly to avoid this. And you can just walk everybody in at once. Seriously? Why? Why are you like this today? How is
Time to
nobody
rest.
getting this?
Very well.
You can just walk everybody in. It's just
Be
a
wary.
good idea.
This place is
I
trapped.
have the best perception. How do I have the best
Someone there?
perception? Anyways, there's a number of reasons to send the rogue in first. One, he can disarm everything, but also, if something goes wrong, you're not going to blow up your entire party. Not blowing up the entire party is a good thing. But you want to make sure to grab that.
Looking ahead. Open up. Always room for more. Watch how you go. There's a trap.
This room isn't
Would've forgot
particularly
to watch
dangerous, so
me.
it's fine. Other rooms will be. So it is a good trick to get used to.
Trap. Be cautious. Strange coin. Wonder what it's worth.
Okay. I mostly want to focus on combat in this stream anyway, so we're just kind of running through some of this extra stuff.
Armed scribes.
Send those things to Shadowheart. Those to Gale. That on my keychain. Send that to Gale. I'm going to send this to camp for later, because it's going to be relevant later. And organize. Okay. Send this to a story. There we go.
What's in here?
Search all the skellybobs. Fun fact, don't pick up the skeletons. The skeletons will attack you if you pick them up. Not that that's something I think the average person would just think to do, but you know, my partner's not an average person and decided I'm gonna try to pick up
This must be ancient.
the skeletons so they
worship
can't
the
attack me, and
Spider.
it doesn't work. They still attack you. They just attack you sooner. So, just random advice. Don't pick up the skeletons. It's kind of a weird one. Okay, and don't forget that you've got this little side room over here. I like to do it beforehand. Here's one of our chests.
Looks like someone wanted to bury their secrets.
Quite ready for you.
And again, make sure you're picking the right person for the job.
This
It's a book.
book is far lighter than
You know
it
who the
should
book
be
person
with
is?
such a massive lock.
Gale.
As the lock opens, a loose page comes with it. Magic pulses from the parchment. What was once script is now an obliterated scrawl. You have a sense these are names, a list. But of what?
I don't personally like to waste my inspiration points
The
on this
longer
one.
you
You
stare
can if
at
you
the
want
dark
to.
and
It's
decimated
lore, not
words, the more your head aches.
not necessarily
There
story
is no
relevant.
meaning to be found here.
So, you know, choose what you want to choose. The point here is to get the
New horizons.
inspiration point more than anything else. Had to like think about the words for a minute. I don't know if you've noticed, I'm a little behind today. Okay,
What a day.
so this
Watch the
combat
shadows.
is pretty simple. There's a very, very simple tactic for this.
Leave no tracks.
There is work to do.
I'm gonna take these two
Let's
up over
try
here.
this way.
Split them. I'm gonna do Shadow Heart in this corner,
Salutations.
Gale in this corner,
At least things have stayed
and then I
interesting.
usually bring my tab
On the
over
way.
here. And once everyone's in place, I hide them. So, at the start of this combat,
If this
you
is
should be here, here, and here. I'm just gonna push the button anyway. I don't need to do the perception check. I'm just gonna push the button. I just love how there's like skeletons back over here, but they're not here.
Oh hell! Something just woke
Okay.
up.
So, before we take our turn, we're going to bring everybody else in. Starting with Astarion.
See me come.
The line of sight for the skeleton's going to be facing out. Perfect opportunity to take him out. Alright. Next, we're going to do Gale. If you've got your magic missile, which you should, take him out. Two down.
There is work to do.
Once that line of sight has been broken, you can get Shadow Heart out here. We're just gonna go straight for this guy. It's not usually enough to completely take him out, but do some damage. So before the first round of combat has even technically started, we're already down 2 with 1 really wounded. That's great. That's what we want. This one here is the hardest one to get. He's got the most hit points and he hits the hardest. So drawing his attention to your fighter is going to be a good idea. Okay.
On the hunt. Keep them guessing.
Get Astarion in right about there. Remember, they've already taken their turn, so they're not necessarily going to have any other actions. You're going to be able to use their bonus actions, but that's it. I usually use this opportunity to pull Gale out of the line of sight,
Let's finish this.
and if anyone needs to be healed, you can pull Shadowheart out of the silence bubble to heal. Did you come over here? That's so weird. And obviously they're a little unpredictable, so there's only so much you can anticipate with these combats, but overall. Okay, let's see. He's facing this way, so if I bring Astarion to this side.
Just like old times.
Nope. Not quite. He's still in the line of sight. We're gonna go for the weakest one at this point, just so we can take the number down.
Unleash me.
Magic missile.
Torment.
Who's that guy? And we're gonna go ahead and move Gale out here now.
Need to act fast.
There we go. Now it's just this guy. Really?
Can you feel death's cold grip?
We are behind him, so we'll take advantage of that.
Sounds like fun.
There we go.
Anyone want to surrender their valuables, even after death?
And then, of course, pull everybody back together.
If not over.
And there it
been
is.
through.
Taking that little bit of extra time just to ensure that
Effort to hide one sarcophagus.
you're safe is always worth it. Is this a difficult combat? No. But let's assume you're doing this on tactical or honor mode. This combat, especially doing it before doing the Grove, could actually end you. It's not that difficult to end up with a total party, you know, wipeout early on in this story.
So he has spoken, and so thou standest before me. Right, as always. What a curious way to awaken. Now, I have a question for thee. What is the worth of a single mortal's life?
Little spooked by the crawling out of the tomb bit? What are you?
I am not the same as those thou hast slain, if that is what thou askest. Wilt thou answer my question?
Yeah, ask away.
So, I ask again, what is the worth of a single mortal life?
Oh, let's see. We're playing a general good guy. So, no one life is worth more than any other. We are all equal.
In death, that is so. Very well. I am satisfied. We have met, and I know thy face. We will see each other again at the proper time and place. Farewell.
Don't forget to loot afterwards. There's some good stuff in there. It's very easy to kind of get caught up and not loot things. Ah, Gale leveled. It must mean we are very, very close. Ah, 4 XP close. Are you kidding me? So lame. Alright, so we're gonna need to do something to just grab that last tiny bit of XP. if you go through and you do all of this before taking on the Grove, having that extra level does help. So it's one of the reasons why I recommend taking this on first, especially using tactics where you're kind of thinning people out and drawing them in, because it will be enough XP to pull you up that extra level so that you're level 3 rather than level 2. Unless you're short 4 XP for some reason. But at least Gale is there, and we can go do something to just kind of push it over the edge potentially.
So, do you have loves waiting for you once this is all over?
You know what? That is not the easiest of questions for me to answer.
You mean just waiting? Like a lovesick puppy? Short-term amusements are much less hassle.
I love that they talk to themselves, or talk to each other. It's fantastic. So we're going to try something to kind of push this over the edge a little bit. Hopefully it's enough. If not, you will definitely have that 3rd level when you reach the end of this combat. So there's that. If you kind of skirt along the edge here, there's a waypoint. Now, had Tav been the one to level up, you could go back to camp and send everybody out of the party and then rejoin them, and they would all level up. But Tav is the one that's short 4. 4 points, so that doesn't work. For whatever reason, Gale managed it. So at the very least, we're going to go ahead and level him. I personally am a big fan of making sure that everyone in the party has Misty Step, especially if you're going to be doing a higher difficulty, because there's nothing like being able to retreat. I like Clouded Daggers, it's very useful. Hold Person is incredibly useful. However you want to go about it. I like to take Clouded Daggers and Misty Step right at this point. But also remember, he's a wizard. He can learn anything. His spells can change. He's very, very versatile. So going into this next fight, those are the ones I want to prioritize. Man, really though? Yeah, like literally everyone needs 4 points. Oh god, that's so annoying. Okay. It's an interesting little trick. We'll try it in this case. Just because it's also, you know, kind of like a useful trick.
My pleasure.
He's already leveled. So we're going to send him up here to kind of initiate this cutscene. And leave everybody hidden down away from it.
Zevlor's orders! That pack of goblins will be on us any second!
What's going on?
Goblins are on our tail! Open the gate, Zevlor, now!
You let goblins here? Where is the druid?
Please! There's no time!
By the 9 hells! Open the gate! Never mind!
Damnable roach! Provoke the blade! And suffer its sting.
Now, typically speaking, I would send Tav up there rather than sending Gale. I would leave Gale where he can't be seen very easily, because he tends to be a little squishier.
Secrecy above all.
But everybody else I do this with.
Face your way.
Ready. Gone with the wind.
The only difference is that in this case it would be Tav normally. Alright, get him out of the way. Now we've got our level. Here's the best part, right? They're not in combat, which means we can level them up really quick. So while Gale is just sitting there on his turn, we're going to go ahead and level them really quick. Ideally, you should have gotten the level. That 4 points of XP is a little eh. So I like to go Thief, so he gets that extra bonus action. I typically go Battle Master with my fighters because I love the maneuvers. They're so helpful. Disarming attack, menacing attack, rally, those are excellent Act 1 boosts. Hands down recommend it. We're going to be restatting her anyway, so don't worry about her too much. Just make sure she's got the spiritual weapon. Prayer of Healing is not helpful. We want that spiritual weapon. So, accept. Okay. Now we're going to figure out our best spots for everybody. So with them all in sneak mode, you can kind of see where everyone is. So the person that we want to take out next is this guy. So we're going to come up and take care of that. That's going to eliminate the line of sight there. Now Astarion can get in. He can get way in here now. There's that.
What's next, I wonder? Step softly.
Again, she's our support, so we really want to make sure that she stays behind all of us. 1, 2, 3. Alright. Gale can take a potion real quick, because he took a hit. And here we go.
My sickle and sword!
Learning how to kind of layer everyone into a combat is really important. Oh, damn. So annoying. Again, they've already taken their turn because they took their turn when they entered the combat. It just gave them an advantage, right? So we were able to take out a few extra goblins. They weren't able to do as much damage by taking advantage of getting that earlier initiative. So,
Another fight. Let's go.
now that we've got a couple extra abilities here, we're going to take a minute to rally someone. I think we're going to go ahead and rally Gale. That's going to give him a little extra hit points. especially since he's not so great with the hit points. And I've got my movement, so I'm going to take it.
Time to kill.
Same with Astarion. We're going to try to move him out of the way. Certainly out of the grease. We're actually going to take him back a step so that we can.
The subtle perch.
I was almost there. Try to get him out of the line of sight. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that down there. So we got a little extra fighter. And why not? Can we reach? Not exactly. We can reach that one.
Let's make this quick.
Alright.
Here, little pumpkin. Oh, hey, kid. What's wrong? Why are we crying?
Sorry, everybody. Just gotta hang on a second while I figure out what's going on with my kid.
Okay.
She just wanted a hug, apparently. She's already gone. Well, okay.
I'll bleed every last one of you!
Okay. Now, the thing with grease is that grease is also explosive. This is not a good thing.
Incendium Fium.
So we generally just don't want to be there. Let's see. Okay, we're going to go ahead and throw daggers here because it's going to hit them both. There we go. Thank you.
Leave no trace.
Okay. Use our stealth. Get that extra attack.
Sometimes the only way out is through.
I always think it's worth it to take the 2 to 5 hit points if I can get in closer on something. Of course, it would help if I actually hit the guy.
Got to keep fighting.
No accounting for dice rolls. Sometimes it's just like that. Doesn't seem like anyone's in desperate need of healing. I'm just gonna choose to fireball and see what happens. Look at that.
That was
Sometimes
the
it
last.
hits and it doesn't.
Inside! All of you! More may follow! Open the gate!
Okay, first things first. Make sure you disarm
Can't give up now.
your big things. I'll be right back. Okay. Sorry about that. Make sure to loot everything.
What's inside?
Can't afford to stay idle.
I kind of wait to group everybody at this point,
Still alive?
since being
So,
scattered
much
kind
progress.
of makes it easier to loot everything.
Never wanted the easy path.
Ordinarily, at least in theory, you should come into this combat at level 3. Obviously that 4 points of XP made a difference, but it was unfortunate. Something worth doing, you're going to find a Morning Star. Definitely give that to Shadowheart. The Gloves of Power only help if you've been blessed by the Absolute, if you have the brand, either on your, I think it's on your hand. But the Sleight of Hand does work. So I usually give those to Astarion for a little boost early on. And the Watcher's Guide is a great spear if you are inclined to give anybody spears. Also, I like giving the amulet to somebody. Just so that when we go in and we sell all of this, we aren't accidentally selling something of use. Okay. Here is where the decisions you start to make are going to matter as far as, like, approval ratings with everybody. In these conversations with Zevlor, if you choose to help the Grove, you're going to get approval from Gale. It's still early on, so you don't have Karlak yet, but she approves of you helping them. Astarion and Shadowheart are indifferent. They don't actually want to waste their time doing this, so if you refuse, you get approval from both of them for that. And then generally as you're making your way around, talking to Auntie Ethel will get approval from Astarion and disapproval from Shadowheart. Choosing to help Arabella doesn't result in anything. If you're trying to avoid getting disapproval with Astarion, don't tell the parents, tell Arabella's parents you're willing to help them, but rescue the girl. The thing isn't that he's got a problem with you rescuing the kid, he's got a problem with you solving someone else's problem. So keep that in mind. But of course, if you're going for Gale, tell the parents that yes, you'll help them, and then rescue the girl. You get extra points for that. Alright, well, that is the Grove, and the Ruins, which I realize I never even actually, like, switched my thing for that, but whatever. Within the Grove, you've got the 2 definite combats. You've got the one outside, and you've got the one with the Harpies, which we'll be covering in my next video. One companion you can pick up. There are 5 magic items, or, like, just better items that you can get throughout the whole thing, through various means. 5 traders. You have to think about that one a little bit, because there's obviously 2, but there's actually 5, including Auntie Ethel and both of the children that trade. Yeah. I'm not planning to do a video of me going through the entire Grove. I'm just giving you some tips on how to do that. So the next video is going to be the smaller combats within this kind of region, this area specifically. So thank you so much for joining me. Sorry about the pause at the end, but I hope that you found this video helpful, and I'll see you tomorrow.